Welcome to Ascension News. Dear Ascending Family, plasmas are the most common form of matter, encompassing more than 99% of the space in the visible universe. Plasma permeates the entire solar system, as well as the interstellar and intergalactic environments. Yet, very few people are aware of plasma or what it is. When we are observing the Milky Way, the constellations, or a bright star in the night sky, we are seeing luminous spheres of plasma that are held together by their own internal magnetic field. The nearest visible luminous sphere of plasma to the Earth is the Sun. Plasmas are electromagnetic systems made from groupings of particles which exhibit an overall zero net charge in its collective result. Plasma can also be described as an ionized gas existing within an electrically neutral medium, or in groups of unbound positive and negative particles. Plasmas are extremely conductive, and they carry electrical currents and generate magnetic fields. Plasma, the fourth state of matter, is a type of gaseous substance that consists of ions and free electrons. However, gases and plasmas are distinct states of matter. Plasmas display vastly different properties and complexities which far exceed those found in gases or other states of matter. A distinguishing quality of plasma is that it has collective behavior, which changes its impact in a field based upon the whole. Plasma is difficult to study because it is extremely hot and does not have a definite shape or a definite volume unless it is enclosed in a container. A plasma can be created by heating gas or subjecting matter to a strong force or electromagnetic signal. Heating plasma decreases or increases the number of electrons, which create positive or negatively charged particles called ions. When the plasma is cooled, the positive ions and electrons combine to form atoms, which produces an ordinary gas. Plasmas are extremely hot, and as they cool, they will lose their charge and transform their state. The human body is made up of atoms and ions. Thus, the human body is capable of a biological ionization process that generates plasma when exposed to certain forces. During the ascension cycle, the human body potentially undergoes the alchemical process that generates the internal plasma light. This is what builds the etheric light body structure for the higher consciousness bodies to function. To generate internal plasma light and build our light body, we need an abundance of energy. To receive an abundance of energy, we must devote our personal energy and direct our consciousness to powering up our spiritual development. We conserve our energy in the material world so that we can direct more energy towards expanding our consciousness. This is how we learn to build and exchange energy with the God source fields. As we meditate and patiently build our internal energy so that we can achieve inner balance, we stop energy leaks and wasting energy. We increase our direct connection to the God Source, which helps us to direct personal energy to spark the plasmic light. The silicate matrix DNA template is the original human crystalline blueprint that is activated in the human body when contact or connection is made with plasmic light. In plasma physics, plasma is not generally considered to be a solid. However, particles, when mixed with plasma, can create solid states of plasmic infused matter. This is what is happening through the expansion of consciousness within the ascending human bodies on the earth. Plasmas may be propagated into solid matter through applied electromagnetic forces of heat and energy that are created by the human body's natural biospiritual function. The human body is a natural resonator that interacts and responds to harmonic oscillations or vibrating systems of energy in the environment. Essentially, what this means is that the human body, when in its natural state, is able to stay in balance and harmonize the field. If displaced from its equilibrium position, from exposure to discordant or disruptive energetic forces, the body will naturally apply restoring forces that return it back into energetic balance. If the body is given access to an abundant supply of life force energy, it will begin to automatically heal itself. This means we must do all we can to return to our most authentic and natural state of being through holding meditative states of inner stillness every day. We still our mind by reprogramming our thoughts away from the negative ego and mind control that we have been exposed to. When we hold present moment awareness with no thoughts, we are the most authentic in our true nature. While we prolong our natural state of being in the now moment, we experience forces of restoration that return our consciousness and body back into balance. When this energetic balance occurs, the color wave spectrum and frequency state of that matter, our physical body, is shifted into crystalline patterns and more complex colors of arrangement. Plasma, when exposed to magnetic fields, form filament structures that form bonds that interconnect with all other states of matter. So as an ascending human develops the ability to embody plasmic light, these filaments are directly experienced as interconnected lines of light that connect to everything and everyone. This includes the state of consciousness, which can truly experience oneness or unity. This is how we get solid plasma. It is made possible through the amazing alchemical process of the ascending human body. By directing our consciousness to connect our body, connect our particles to plasma light, electrons collect on the particles and start to create a plasmic crystalline structure that builds filaments which connect and communicate with all things. Bioplasma and the soul spirit. We understand that plasma is the most common substance in our universe as it permeates through absolutely everything in creation. We learned that plasma creates filament-like strings that interconnect and communicate with all other things, and that this is relative to attaining the consciousness state of unity. Thus, plasma is the interface that communicates with the intelligent energy of all creation. Our personal inner spark of plasma is our direct interface to link with the massive plasma core of the universe, or that which connects us to the cosmic mind of God's source. The universal core is a massive amount of plasma rotating outwardly, from which many smaller plasma sparks of light or consciousness units have been spirally projected and externally thrust from the inner core of creation. We are the suns, stars, and sparks of that universal plasma soul spirit that have projected themselves into the lowest particle dimensions, traveling away from our direct connection to the universal core or God source. The further we travel away from the universal core, the less direct connection we have, the less plasma energy we have available to recharge our personal plasmic spiritual bodies and consciousness. Our soul and spiritual bodies, our aura, are energized, strengthened, and built by the same core substance from which the universe has been created, plasma. The soul spirit is the plasma power supply inside of our physical body, which functions similarly to a biological computer. As we gradually embody our soul spirit, the higher consciousness patterns and spiritual blueprints are imprinted inside our cells, passing through the plasma membrane. These higher consciousness imprints energetically shift our awareness and transform who we think we are. This new consciousness content is recorded into our physical being, which drops the previous state of energetic density and identity while restoring what is lost by generating new quantities of biological plasma light. The power supply lines inside of our bodies have a direct interface which acts as an antenna that allows us to plug into the universal core supply of plasma in order to recharge our personal energy and expand consciousness. When we are able to connect to the universal power supply of plasma, we are able to increase our energetic sustainability by increasing our inner power supply. When we recharge our inner power supply, we can send, receive, and exchange intelligent energy with the universal core of plasma and with all other sparks of plasma around us. If we do not know how to use our body's interface and we do not recharge ourselves, effectively we have an extremely low energy or dead power supply. When we do not have enough power supply or we waste our energy, we cannot function well at any level, physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually. Without enough power supply, we cannot interface or communicate with any of the other sparks of plasma, including our own inner spark. If we think we are only the content of our noisy thoughts and mental belief systems, or we believe we are only physical entities, we lose our ability to connect directly to the sustaining power supply of the universal God source. Generally, while in this depleted state, we will feel very unhappy, even miserable, and our mind will search for external things to distract us from that empty or sad feeling inside. For many people, this disconnection is how severe addictions to external things are created. Therefore, we have to learn how to build up our personal power supply and learn how to conserve our energy in order to activate our biological interface to connect with more plasma. We can multiply the plasma energy supply that will be returned back to us from the universal core when we open up our direct interface to connect. During this time, we are given a new power supply of plasma that is being generated from the aquiline sun onto the Earth's surface and crust. We can attune to the power supply of plasma light by focusing our consciousness and attention towards that source of plasma, or focusing on building our light body. We want to build up the central vertical channel to directly interface with and lengthen our antenna, to connect directly with a universal or God power supply. Clearing the mind in daily meditation and directing our energy towards some kind of spiritual practice becomes a supportive part of our lifestyle. The 12D Shield is one such spiritual practice to begin to learn how to connect with the plasma light source. The ability to connect with plasma, along with the capacity we have to strengthen our plasma light body, is deeply influenced by our lifestyle and personal choices. As we gain consciousness and clarity, we acquire deeper realization of the consequences that are created from our lifestyle choices and their level of importance and impact upon our personal evolution. As we align to the natural flow of our true being, we will feel the need to increase the quality of our food, sleep, thoughts, emotions, environment, relationships, and community connections. The highest expression of the human plasma body is the Avatar Christ consciousness, and it is not governed by the past, present, or future, nor any ancestral, genetic, or karmic overlays. The personal plasma light body pulsates with the in and out breath of the universal plasma body, existing in a perpetual state of connection with the sustaining power supply, newly beginning and newly becoming the spiraling experience of creation. Plasma beings. There are many different sentient forms or advanced consciousness life forms that exist in states that are vastly unfamiliar to us on the Earth. On Earth, we tend to associate intelligent life with some kind of physical body or form that we can see. However, some of the most advanced levels of interdimensional light beings that have the highest states of multidimensional consciousness in the universe exist in formless and bodiless states as plasma beings. Plasma beings are made up of the God Source power supply and are immensely loving and compassionate. They are capable of projecting their consciousness throughout multiple dimensions simultaneously while creating any kind of body they may choose to inhabit. The body they choose to inhabit is generally holding a governing principle and serving a specific purpose in the cosmic order. They may travel vast intergalactic distances in plasma orb bodies, and they are most commonly seen in these temporary bodies, which may appear as biological plasma ships. Some plasma beings are massive stars, or can be comprised of entire interstellar systems that make up a certain species. Many of the guardians that are hosting planet Earth's ascension cycle are massive plasma beings or suns. They know firsthand that connecting into the universal plasma source and embodying plasma light is the key to spiritual freedom and ascending into higher consciousness states. Thus, many plasma beings have returned to the earth or are revealing themselves to us now. They are here to help humanity learn about the ascension and the importance of plasma to build our light body. Plasma light ignites our crystal heart and helps us to attain higher consciousness states when we commune with the universal forces of unconditional love and peace. Dismantling artificial intelligence machinery. During the equinox to Easter week, Guardian Gridwork projects successfully opened channels for interdimensional communication links to be anchored between first dimensional Earth core and the fourth dimensional intersections in the planetary networks. As the planet evolves towards the incredibly fast and high energy electrons interacting between the plasmasphere of the Van Allen radiation belt, these damaged areas on the grid, infiltrated with artificial intelligence, must be cleared out to allow for the Earth to move through these barriers created by the radiation belt. About 600 miles from the Earth's surface is the first of two donut-shaped electron clouds known as the Van Allen belts, or the radiation belts. The Van Allen belts are a collection of charged particles gathered in place by Earth's magnetic field that act as an energetic barrier that prevent too much high-frequency and ultra-fast electrons from being exposed to the Earth field. There are two main radiation belts around the Earth. The inner belt is dominated by protons, and the outer belt is dominated by electrons. Too much plasma or high-frequency light transmitted to the planet, especially into its damaged areas, such as areas with artificial intelligence infiltration, could create massive polarity amplification of chaotic forces and destruction on the surface. Eventually, however, the planet will move into the high-frequency levels of the radiation belts and will begin to cycle to evolve beyond these barriers around the end of 2017. Purging the planet of the remaining black magic grids running artificial intelligence signal is an ongoing project to protect damaged areas on the Earth's surface from getting worse when exposed to plasma light sources. Moving into the radiation belts will open a tremendous influx of intergalactic plasma waves and ultra-high energy electrons to penetrate the Earth field, thus saturating the Earth plane with energies that have never been here before. Thus, evictions and transits of those entities or dark forces trapped in the damaged grid areas in the astral, phantom, or dead energy spaces is required. The main areas of clearing out alien machinery, black magic, grid work, transiting entities, and clearing out sections of the collective astral pain body were recently located in the crystal caverns of central Mexico, as well as Giza, Oceania, Temple Mount, and the Syrian and Israeli border, near the 33rd parallel into Mount Hermon. Essentially, the Guardian Light Warriors have undergone an exhausting spiritual battle for defending the fourth Stargate, Sphinx, to retrieve access into underground networks that lead into the Middle Earth and Inner Earth domains. Starseeds have been working hard in every domain to clear out black magic grids so that these interdimensional links could finally be anchored in the astral plane fields. Centurion Wars. During this process of clearing up the Giza areas, it surfaced the timelines and histories involving the Centurion Wars. Centurions are Anunnaki hybrids from the Alpha Centauri and Omega Centauri that are under the enslavement of Draconian and Necromaton armies of the negative alien agenda. They are used to infiltrate the astral plane, reporting back to their supervisors, and to battle for control over the planetary gates in the Middle East, such as the location of the Giza pyramids and Sphinx in Egypt. The Necromaton are the entities that project themselves as men in black to clean up and sanitize UFO or related extraterrestrial evidence that reveals their agenda on planet. They cannot exist on the surface for long periods of time, so they have built bases underground with the cooperation of the human military. Evictions of these armies in areas accessing Giza have taken place, and it was an ugly battle. It is these particular alien groups that work with the covert black military to strategize the war and killing programs in the Middle East. This is visibly apparent through that which is reported in the media as the terrorism perpetrated by the Islamic State. However, as a result of new access and hope for reclaiming Giza, Starseed grid workers have been receiving new plasma-generated code that is now accessible from the Earth plane. This intergalactic channel opening allows for the running of the crystal-coded algorithms into the Earth core, which supports new resonating tone frequencies to broadcast out of the Earth and into the crust. Specifically, these frequencies are called interdimensional frequency resonators and are able to interconnect links with cosmic level ray transmissions. This Guardian project is also designed to override Metatronic code, dismantle artificial intelligence software and their machinery from using ELF, or extremely low frequency broadcasts of mind control, and heavy metals being sent into the surface grids. Alien machinery rely on the consistent production of heavy metals in the atmosphere for greater conductivity of their ELF broadcasts. Certain areas of the Earth grid have been especially damaged and are problematic due to the ancient astral plane distortions and the many histories of the fourth dimensional Stargate infiltration stemming from the Middle East wars. A tremendous amount of energetic processing, transmuting, and transiting of a variety of astral entities, Anubian black hearts, and related miasmatic debris from the astral layers related to war and Holocaust histories has taken place. For some of us, this time may have felt extremely exhausting and dreadful, as Holocaust timelines are especially painful to neutralize and clear from the Earth. Holocaust timelines are held in place by planetary crucifixion alien machinery, and thus purging or dismantling these networks in major cities and power vortices is ongoing. However, this clearing and grid healing in the astral plane allows for new infusions of solar plasma from the Earth core to be transmitted and absorbed into our cells. The Earth core at the first dimensional level has been merged with the core of parallel Earths in future timelines, thus weaving together with the galactic suns. The opening of inner gates into the parallel allows for new integrations of cosmic to galactic plasmic sun source that is becoming more accessible in the Earth crust, and this is called the aquiline sun. Aquiline sun. The planetary body is nested within multiple blueprint structures that are contained within the 5 spheres of creation: planetary, solar, galactic, universal, and cosmic. The guardians of crystal star consciousness have been streaming plasma waves into all layers of the Earth's blueprint in order to raise her frequencies and to fully anchor the plasma infusions coming from the galactic waves of solar light. Guardian forces have been acquiring solar plasma light from the suns of Sirius B, then transmitting it into the first levels of aquiline healing energy into the Earth. This is purposed so that we may begin to receive and transmit plasma light directly from the Earth plane and on the surface crust. Prior to this being made available, starseed grid workers would go off-planet to gather and infuse these galactic frequencies into the Earth body, so that the human body could eventually connect with that same frequency. This has been successful, and now it is possible to connect with galactic sun frequencies right from the Earth plane. Plasma infusions have been made into the Earth core, which include the process of weaving solar light from the galactic suns down into the Earth core sun frequencies, allowing the fusion between these multiple solar bodies to occur. This has activated the Mother Earth's inner sun frequencies, which appear now as deep ultraviolet and bluish waves of oscillating plasma light. The blue flame merge is from the 5th dimensional core in parallel Earth, and the violet flame is from the 7th dimensional core in parallel Earth, and together They unite the ultraviolet blue light with their galactic sun counterparts. The galactic sun frequency has been transmitting from above and is now anchoring into the Earth core, gradually merging together and braiding completely with the Earth sun. The plasma light that is being generated is from the merge that occurred with the galactic suns, which is transmitting from above, while the Earth sun is transmitting from deep below. This complete connected circuit of the galactic plasmic light transmissions that is coming from the Earth plane is called the aquiline sun frequencies. Thus, the Mother Earth has woven her sun's frequencies from deep inside the Earth core while moving up and through the galactic layers, uniting with the galactic suns. Indigos, starseeds, and the Oraphim are the first waves of conduit for transmitting the ascending aquiline sun frequencies into the Earth. We are the natural conduit for growing these frequencies on the Earth's surface. As we help to anchor these plasma infusions on the surface grid, this also serves to repair damaged networks or descending hubs. The aquiline sun frequencies directly stream the crystal consciousness coding into the surface. We are able to absorb these frequencies to collect and reassemble all of our spiritual bodies and parts, our complete diamond sun body and crystal heart. As we commune with the aquiline sun frequencies, these blue plasma energies will gradually remove all that is artificial or false, restoring our body and consciousness to reflect its true essence and divine nature. When the body has absorbed enough light frequency to prepare for plasma transmissions, the body is able to connect with and absorb the aquiline sun plasma frequencies. This is a spiritual body integration process which activates the crystal cells, both in the mitochondria and within the permanent seed atom. During the process of divine light shielding, we can direct our Merkaba star with our consciousness to absorb and fill from underneath our feet with aquiline sun, violet blue plasma frequencies and direct them into our navel center, thus recoding the lower umbilicus, and merge into our higher heart center to activate the thymus role in higher monadic functioning. At the top of our Ra shield, we can now merge with the galactic suns and beyond plasma frequencies Ka, Ra, Ya, Sa, Ta, Ah, La, and bring them down to circulate anywhere into our physical being. As we begin to integrate and unite with the galactic suns, we may bring the consciousness memories and instruction set of our eternal diamond sun body back into our crystal heart, which ignites our true nature to return us back into the consciousness of oneness. As more of our diamond sun body frequencies are aligned with the physical body, more and more of our consciousness memories will be restored. It is through the Mother's perfect proton seed, or cosmic egg, transmitted through the aquiline sun frequencies, that creation can heal itself to its original divine blueprint. Through our beloved Mother Ark, we are able to access the galactic sun frequencies to create the aquiline sun, which is also connected to the plasma light from the Aquarian races in the Andromeda core. These plasma frequencies are that which deeply heal us. The Ascension cycle is about reclaiming the Christ and Mother principle for the planet by building the architecture for Mother Arc hubs, connecting to the Aurora and Aquiline Sun, and building triad communication stations to connect to crystal star architecture. Unresolved conflicts are spiritual barriers. The influx of a variety of plasma wave infusions entering the planet are surfacing many types of collective race miasmas buried in the human pain body. Primarily, this is surfacing in the form of sexual misery patterns, sexual distortions, gender issues, abusive issues, and relationship problems. All unresolved emotional conflicts are barriers to our spiritual growth and expanding consciousness. Thus, these emotional conflicts in our pain body must be willingly dealt with in our relationships in order to take personal responsibility for our behaviors, attitudes, or beliefs. Taking responsibility for our personal issues is the first stage of emotional growth, which leads to spiritual growth. If we continue to blame others for our problems or unhappiness, then we are unable to resolve our emotional conflicts, and that blocks our spiritual evolution. Therefore, there is a bifurcation split occurring between those people in relationships that are open and willing to resolve emotional conflicts in order to continue to evolve, and those people who refuse to acknowledge their personal responsibility in creating emotional conflicts and are blocking their spiritual evolution. This manifests as a massive confusion and explosive pressure on any relationship that has hidden emotional issues, unhealthy or abusive patterns, or unconscious reactions that create tensions in the relationship. We must learn how to be present and self-aware in all interactions, in all of our relationships, especially in our intimate ones, so that we can remove spiritual blockages and continue our emotional growth. Most dysfunctional emotional patterns are formed early in childhood, which manifest into adulthood as the unhealed trauma and wounds that we carry around from the false parent imprints. The false parent represents the confusion a child develops by believing that our biological mother or father parent should have certain behaviors towards us, such as being unconditionally loving, protective, and emotionally nurturing. In actuality, it may be that none of these biological or emotional needs were met by the parental role. Possibly, the parental role was grossly distorted or abusive in some way. Through narcissistic wounding or other forms of abuse suffered in childhood, these same abuse patterns are repeated in our most intimate relationships through adulthood, in marriages, or in living together. Many times we cannot see these dysfunctional patterns playing out from the family of origin, until our relationship is ready to explode. Depending on the level of parental dysfunction experienced by the child, concepts of love, sex, and emotional needs may be confused with abusive behaviors where personal boundaries are non-existent. Relationships that are ingrained to be abusive, painful, or narcissistic in childhood are wounds that continue to be carried throughout life until the emotional conflict is corrected. Without correction of this dysfunction, the digression of the abuse pattern continues to define loving and relating behaviors, and this infects all interpersonal relationships. As long as the dysfunctional pattern continues, the person will feel disconnected, loveless, engaging with sexual misery behaviors, and is unable to communicate emotional needs and enforce personal boundaries of loving behaviors in their relationships. This propagates many unsuccessful and unhappy marriages, and the partners will seek coping mechanisms in the external, or the relationship will explode apart entirely. Humanity's greatest task during the Ascension cycle is to heal their personal emotional trauma around sexual pain and gender wounding that is related to the false parent archetype. Healing the false parent. When this is addressed with compassionate witnessing, this can give us a lot of previously hidden information about ourselves. This will also give us details into the deeper motivations or hidden agendas of our relationships, and this may be quite surprising to even shocking. This will be a time to observe our mind and body for any automatic reactions, emotional trigger points, or hidden belief systems. The collective fields of the planet are very energetically intense and are unstable at this time. This is a phase where we must learn to love ourselves unconditionally and to be only with those people that are capable of reflecting back to us that same loving care. We must learn to unconditionally love, respect, and accept all aspects of ourselves. There are groups of people that are having heart openings and are choosing to have more loving kindness and peace in their lifestyle. There are groups of people that are closing down their heart from unresolved emotional pain and suffering, and they are unconsciously creating more chaos, negativity, and stress in their lifestyle. When these different choice levels surface in intimate relationships, such as marriages or partnerships, the conflict can be extremely explosive, emotional, and painful. Before the awakening process, many people choose partners or spouses that carry karmic patterns of pain, associated or familiar to them from childhood, based on the false parent. If we have a false parent relationship during this time of the collective pain body surfacing on the planet, we will be under intense pressure to resolve this emotional conflict and make different choices in our future direction. We must find the emotional blockage that acts as a barrier to further our spiritual growth, or the relationship will end. As difficult as it may be in the short term, ending unhealthy relationships is much better for our growth and happiness in the longer term. People that are run by their unconscious mind or pain body may have little to no control over their reactions and impulses at this time. They will have no comprehension of the false parent or sexual misery overlays running in the environment and in other people. As a result, they will unconsciously play out these impulsive behaviors of the false parent in their relationships, and these dysfunctional patterns will magnify and get worse. All things that are hidden must be seen and observed in order to be healed and energetically shifted in our relationships. Most people are not good communicators or able to communicate feelings very well. This is especially true when it comes to all matters concerning intimate relationships and sexuality. This presents an opportunity to develop better relationship skills with compassionate communication and the relationship mastery guidelines. Non-violent communication is a very productive method to learn how to apply non-violent communication or compassionate communication towards every aspect of our interpersonal relationships as we commit to unconditional loving kindness and accepting ourselves. Then we must learn how we can communicate exactly in emotional alignment with how we really feel. The result of our emotional clarity develops personal spiritual growth, and this is what develops energetic coherence and integrity within our being. For more information, see Relationship Mastery Guidelines and Compassionate Communication in our Ascension Glossary. At this time, we have an opportunity to come into the greater realization that our true parent is our God parent, and our God parent is calling us home during the Ascension cycle, as we find the spark of God deep inside our crystal heart. We will understand how we can be free of this abusive false parent and all of the emotional pain we have suffered from it, as we take responsibility for ourselves as the real parent. We completely and unconditionally forgive our biological parents as we learn to parent our inner child. We are the mother, the father, and the child. To be a loving parent requires taking full responsibility to educate the child. This is one way of understanding self-mastery. To be a firm but loving parent means that the inner child cannot run amok with the physical body, playing out all of its whims and fancies. The child can hurt itself if it is not given proper parenting and loving discipline to develop emotionally and spiritually. When we are capable of loving and parenting ourselves, our body becomes a beloved friend, a safe and secure space. Our intimate relationships and marriages are transformed through loving ourselves, and we are moved into healthier states of being as we are able to create more loving and peaceful relationships. Female sexual fluids. Currently, it has become increasingly important for females on the ascending path to not have sexual intercourse with any male partner that is in any shape or form sexually abusive. In the present turmoil that manifests karmic patterns within intimate or sexual relationships, ascending females will be abruptly shifted out of negative circumstances that are sexually abusive. The intelligence of her spiritual light is protecting her light body from any further intrusion of superimposed negativity as a result of negative or abusive sexual relations. Sexual abuse is defined as a female receiving negative astral energy accumulation into her light body from having sex with her partner that jeopardizes or blocks her spiritual advancement during this time. A female receiving negative accumulations of astral energy during sexual intercourse with a disconnected or abusive partner runs the risk of extremely amplified astral energy that can lead to passing dark possessions from the male. It also can transfer between emotionally or spiritually disconnected partners many accumulated years of energetic pain, suffering, or misery into the body. In some cases, this is used to target ascending starseed females to drastically lower their personal frequency and harvest their light source by using their bodies as a dark repository. It is extremely important for all ascending females to protect their sexual organs and treat their bodies with loving care and respect as God's holy temple. With current plasma light activations, the multidimensional anatomy of the female sexual organs and sexual fluids are shifting to become prolific light generators. An ascending female being initiated into higher frequencies of plasma light will begin to notice changes occurring in her sexual organs, cycle, and fluids. Her fluids are being activated into powerful alchemical mixtures that react to combine during sexual intercourse to generate even more light. When a female is able to unconditionally love herself, hold personal power, and respectful boundaries for her body during orgasm, the activated fluids open into the cells to receive more of her soul spirit into the body. Simultaneously, during this loving conjunction, it attracts more of her partner's soul spirit into his body. This is a power source that can be very supportive for mutual spiritual growth and sharing loving and blissful states with our beloved partner. Or, if we are reckless with our body, this power can be abused and used against us. On the ascending path, we must make the choice to clean up the past painful sexual connections and release the accumulative astral baggage. With the new plasma energies, we are learning how human sexuality is evolving in order to become what it was designed for, a very loving and spiritually beneficial experience. Please only take what is useful for your spiritual growth and discard all the rest. Thank you for your courage and bravery to be a truth seeker. Until next, stay in the luminosity of your avatar, Christos Sophia heart path. Please be kind to yourself and each other with a loving heart until next month.